here's some financial advice that I wish now that I'm in my 30s that I told myself, or that someone told me back in my 20s, that you should implement now that you have the time on your side. So the first thing, and I'm sure you hear this everywhere, is start investing early. So I wish that I had started investing and taking retirement way more seriously. So that is adding and contributing to 401k, taking advantage of a match. Additionally, doing your Roth, and also doing independent brokerage investing as well. When you start as early as possible, you do not need to contribute a ton of money. And also, as we all know, when you are broke and you're young, you don't have a ton of money on your side as you're starting in your early years of career. And I wish that I started and taking that seriously early as possible. I remember thinking, as when I was young, I was just like, retirement and all that's later on, and I was not taking it seriously. And now I am overcompensating to ensure that I'm set up for success. But I do wish that I've been working since I was 14 years old, and imagine if I would have started contributing that early. So that is one thing that I wish that I would have taken seriously. And if I can tell you anything now, for anyone who's young and who's starting to make money, please start investing early. And I could make a whole video on that. I'm very, very passionate about that. In addition to that is set strong financial goals early. So outside of just retirement, you can set financial goals with savings. You can set financial goals with a home down payment. When my husband and I, when we got together, we had savings, and we just continue to contribute to savings together, because that's just what you're supposed to do. But we did not have a strong financial goal for it. We were just kind of doing it just to do it. But once we were like, okay, we have our emergency fund and we have that, now let's save for a down payment, and then let's save for XYZ. That's when things completely changed and accelerated. And I wish that we would have had intentional buckets of money and savings way sooner. And that's something that I wish that I was more intentional about even before I was married, just younger. Another thing is I wish that I didn't let lifestyle creep kind of peak up. And I think that that is very normal for a lot of people who did not grow up with money. So as I mentioned, I grew up in the hood. I did not grow up with a lot of money. And once I started making, money and zeros that I've never seen before, I think, slowly I started buying myself nicer things, or, my apartment started getting nicer, or, I started buying nicer bags and stuff. And I wish that I slowed down on that and became a lot more aware of it. I am naturally a spender, and I love to spend, and I love to buy myself things. So that's something that now, as in my 30s, I'm a lot more cautious of that. But I think that I should have been a lot more aware of that back then. And in addition to that is with the money that I did spend or have more disposable income, I wish that I also spent even more money on experiences and less on stuff. So I did travel and things like that, but I do wish that I traveled even more and spent more on experiences, especially before I had kids. And less on material things that a lot of that I don't even have anymore. I love some material things as like any normal person, but I do wish that I had, more memories rather than stuff. And then the last thing that is important, and I think that I really, really wish, and this ties to everything that I talk about from the career side of it, and we can talk a lot more about this, is negotiation. So this is something I had no idea what I was walking into when you start getting into salaries in the product and tech world. No one told me about this, especially in the beginning, is that you can negotiate everything. Now, right now, with everything being a little bit weird, in the, with layoffs and the job market, how it is, it depends, we can kind of talk about when's the right time to do it and things like that. But for the most part, you can negotiate everything. You can negotiate titles and salary and signing bonuses and PTO, and you can negotiate so many different things, and I had no idea. I remember when I was just given, here's the offer, and I've never made $40,000 before. I've never seen that before, and I remember I was just like, oh my God, yes. But later on, I found out that my peers were making $60,000, and they had the same title and stuff, and that's something that I wish that I knew more about and knew how to do. And that's a skill that you have to learn over time. And if I would have knew about that, I probably would have gotten to the destination of where I wanted to be much sooner, and also wouldn't have felt taken advantage of, and would have boosted my confidence a lot sooner. So that's something that we can talk about how to do, especially as a minority and as a woman of color. And that is something that I am very passionate about as well. So negotiate everything. So these are the tips on everything that I wish that I knew back in my 20s as your big sister in tech and all things product, but this is just a little bonus segment on finances. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to deep dive on anything here, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.